want to grow in that corporate ladder, yeah, you have to, and it is mandatory to a certain extent that you have to show your face in the office, right?
We from the beginning believe that best companies are bought, they are never sold.
Okay, so I look at the top line, he looks at the bottom line, and somewhere we meet in middle.
I know for sure that she is my boss.
Welcome to Future of Work, a special series brought to you by Network18 in collaboration with IndiQube. I'm Chandra Ashrikant, and today we're diving into the transformation of India's workplaces with two visionary leaders, Rishi Das and Meghna Agarwal, the co-founders of IndiQube. From pioneering co-working spaces to redefining hybrid work and sustainability, IndiQube has grown to a 1,000 crore powerhouse, shaping how millions work today. Join us as we explore their insights on building flexible, innovative, and future-ready workspaces in this exciting conversation. Let's start with this. Meghna, is this your HQ? Rishi, is this where you guys work out of every day?
So we have about 50 buildings in the Bangalore, but our main office is near Sakra, where we operate out of. But then we have to do a lot of site visits, and we have to kind of visit a lot of places. So sometimes we operate from Eco, and sometimes we operate from our CBD offices.
And you're comfortable with the Bangalore traffic and everything, because that's the main talking point these last 2 weeks.
That's the reason when we go to one place, we try to be there only, not move through the day.
Right.
And that is why the satellite offices helps. The multiple offices in the same area also helps. It is actually walk to work, not work from home. So you can walk to work wherever the office, and you can start operating from there.
Right. Before we get into IndiQube and the future of work and all those big themes, let me start with both of you. A husband-wife couple running what used to be a unicorn, now a publicly listed company. How did your journey begin? I was speaking to a few people who said that Meghna used to first run a minerals company. This is her second or third venture. Minerals to co-working is quite the journey. So take us through that arc.
So I am a small town girl. Okay, so
small town girl would be Alwar in
Rajasthan. Yes. So I'm small town girl. So I mean, and I've seen my cousins. I come from a huge, large family. I've seen my cousins, getting married extremely early. So I knew I didn't want to get married very early. So that was I was aware of. So that fear kind of really pushed me to work hard. I mean, if I would not have been like working hard or not a professional, I would have ended up married. Some pan-eating guy spitting all over, honestly. And the chances were very high. So definitely, so that fear. So I always knew that I'll be working, I'll be professional. I was kind of practicing to become an wannabe iBanker, but an entrepreneur, I always say it's by accident, it's not by choice. It just so happened because of I passed out in the September 11 attack. The markets were down, and so lack of choice. I said there's nothing, nothing to worry, no baggage. I can always go back to my professional world. So at least let's start something on its own. And my first company I started in Hypro Consulting. The mineral one was my second one.
Acha, yeah. Okay. So from consulting to minerals to...
So wherever the money takes you.
And how did you guys meet? Is it true that you all met on an Agarwal matrimony site?
That's true. Yeah. That site is no longer there, but we went to a matrimonial site. Those were the different times, what you see today. So yeah, we got married in 2003 and
2003 through Agarwal to Agarwal.com site. I think the site got crashed later on once we got married. Yeah, so it's been, we've been married for more than 20 years. When we came back to Hyper Consulting and Rishi was running CareerNet Consulting, we were changing buildings, office spaces very often. So at one point of time, what we did, we took a larger space, almost about 1 lakh square feet, and the space which we were not used by us, we subleased to our clients. And gradually these clients started tagging along all our services which we provide to our employees, like your food court, your transport, meeting rooms, boardrooms, crash services and all. And when we asked them, when we were growing and asked those spaces back, they were quite reluctant. They were like, look, we are too small. It is not our core business. This is known. Can you manage it for us? Some of them also advised that why don't you take some other building and manage it for us, rather than we running the show. And total out of, I would say, accident, and total ignorance, we took 1.5 lakh square feet. And we were surprised, in 4 to 6 months, we leased the entire building. And there we realized that, there's a huge gap. Like the workspace, everything.
So the entire idea sort of happened by accident.
By
It was a
accident.
Within
problem.
CareerNet, yeah.
Within career.
Wow.
So when we were changing office, and it is more like that. So, and then we dwell more into it, and when we realize that it's binary, like either you have the tech parks of the world, you have the residential office spaces. There is no concept of services, there is no concept of pay-as-you-go model, no agility, no flexibility provided and all. And, definitely the employee services was the key. And that's how IndiQube was born in 2000.
So how did you come up with the name IndiQube?
So basically, we wanted something which is Indian. That was one thing very
And
clear
cube
to
kind
us.
of refers
And
to a
cube was
cabinet,
more
like a
about
cubicle.
spaces.
as a
Yeah.
space.
So
Space.
Indian cubicle kind of became.
And the Q we picked up because Q is a very powerful word, like the way you have Z or X.
Correct.
So instead of C, we went with Q because of the power of that alphabet. So that's how the name was conceived. And we also got the .com. That was another criteria, whether you like it or not at that point in time.
So
that's how-
IndiQube, and if you see our logo is also 2 squares. So you have one space, you're growing. So grow your business with that dotted going up till the bigger square.
Got it.
So it's like IndiQube, you grow your business with us. So
But
that's-
how was the co-working space then? I'm assuming WeWork was still there, some of the other players were still there. But when you started, what was the state of the market? What was the demand like? Because it's something that has really boomed in the last decade.
Yeah.
With GCCs also setting up, unicorns setting up in India. But before that, what was it like when you all started up IndiQube?
So there were only Chandra business centers. Typically, that was a meaning of anything to do that. Now they were mostly catering to small size or short stay. Either you have a transit office or you have a liaison office. There was no concept of large size, long stay kind of a thing. And honestly, you talked about our global competitor. We heard about them 2 years after starting IndiQube.
Okay.
We are touring Manhattan and we said that this name we are hearing, why don't we go and have a look at their center? So that was the first time we heard that something like this is there. Our approach was always grounds up, 1.0. Like what problem we were having, we could see that being in the HR business, both me and Meghna and Anshuman, what we realized was that for the IT industry, the employee is the hero of the story, right? Anything and everything that you try doing in offices, because your customers are typically sitting outside India.
Correct.
So we all from the beginning were very clear that anything that can improve the employee outcomes is very, very important. And you cannot have one size fits all kind of an approach over there. So those are the places where we could see the gap was there, and we clicked at the right time. And pretty much if you see most of our competitors, most of them started pretty much 2 years after we started. First center we picked up in 2015. So,
Yeah. So today, if I look at it, Meghna, the whole co-working space segment is getting a lot of attention, not just because they're in demand, but also because so many of them are going public. You now have Office, which is listed, IndiQube, which is listed. I think WeWork has plans to list. They're already
listed now.
SmartWorks is listed. Yeah.
SmartWorks is listed. So you have Office, IndiQube, WeWork, SmartWorks. Table Space also has
Quite a few in pipeline.
ambitions. Yeah, quite a few in the pipeline. How do you sort of distinguish IndiQube in this rather crowded market?
We see that as a workspace outsourcing partnership business. We don't see that we are a provider of only plug and play office spaces. And we look at the entire supply chain of the workspace. So for example, we work very closely with our landlords typically to renovate a lot of older properties. And as you can see in Mumbai or Bangalore, as metro is coming to city centers, older buildings have to come up to life. So 30% of our supply today is of renovated buildings.
Okay.
Typically. And then we also do a lot of build to suit with them. And when it comes to our clients, when we approach them, we say, okay, if you have a 2 million square feet portfolio across the country or whatever portfolio you have, what can I do for you? Now, they may in one of their offices say that I have a problem of my boardroom renovation. In one of my buildings, I need food to be fixed. Or I have a transport issue in another city. I need plug and play office space in another city. So our idea is to engage with them and then see that what all we can do over a period of time with them. So that is one key differentiation. And then it goes the typical B2B way where you have a lot of SLAs, dependability and all of that. The other aspect will be that Today, everything in Indian cities is getting redefined because of metro.
Yeah.
So 80% of our properties are within 3 kilometers of metro station. So as Meghna emphasized the point about walk to work, we strongly believe in that. So we see that as a big differentiator for us. Then if you look at big emphasis on sustainability, today almost I will say 30-35% of our portfolio is green building, and these are buildings which we converted to green as an occupier, not as a landlord. So big focus is happening on that. And 90% of our spaces are occupied by clients who have taken more than 100 seats. So the enterprise first approach is very clearly evident.
It's not like small startups which need 2-3 people.
So we encourage them. If you see by number of logos, we have a very large number of them. In fact, we give a lot of priority to women-led enterprises, SME enterprises, but we believe in their growth story. So as they grow, we keep giving them better and bigger spaces and all that. Also, more than 40% of our spaces are occupied by global capability centers. And this is a phenomena in the last 3-4 years is only becoming bigger and bigger. So these are things. Then last but most important is the technology stack that we have, like the IndiQube platform we have. So right, because if you look at the day life of any employee, 8 to 10 hours they are spending in the office.
Correct.
And look at the number of touch points from the time you decide that you want to go to office and do multiple things. So our IndiQube app allows us to ensure that the entire experience is online over there.
In terms of setting up a meeting room?
Yes, like for example, you want to book a parking lot.
Parking lot
in the morning.
Right from the parking.
Yeah, so we have a client in which, so they are about 1,000 seater, like 1,000 employee, but they have only taken 500 seaters. So they can book the space, book the seat accordingly.
So these are the places where we see that we are able to differentiate.
Where you're using tech to power some of these everyday problems.
Yeah, so basically, in short, is like to add to Rishi's point, is like we have this follow the talent strategy. We do not follow a product. We do not say that we would only operate on a floor or a building or any. It's follow the talent. Wherever the talent is going, we will follow them. And our product would evolve accordingly. Our services would evolve accordingly. So our services, like when we started with food, but now till here we already have 20 services to offer to them. So everything which eases the employee experience, helps the employee experience in the workspace, we will get into it.
Right. Meghna, Rishi spoke about how I think over 40% of your clients are now GCCs. But from what I understand, I think 50-60% are also unicorns, all the well-funded unicorns in the country. Tell us about how it's been like working with unicorn founders. What kind of expectations do they have? How many unicorns do you work with today?
So as you said, about close to 50-60%, the unicorns are with us. But when we started working with them, they were not unicorns that time. They were startups, right? So idea strategy is to catch them young, right? And
so
then
that you're with them throughout
their growth journey. That is the whole idea, because then they know us. They understand what is in store for them. So we catch them young. So they start small. Like I can give you example. No broker started as small as like 10 seats, and now they've grown about 1.5 lakh square feet with us. So entire journey they've been through with us. So yes, and the founders we interact with, they're just like us, just much younger. I would say that's all. But similar passion, similar kind of a background. They want to do change in the world and all. So yeah, it's lovely to meet all of them, and then you get to understand and learn so much about a lot of other spaces, a lot of other technology which is happening, a lot of innovation which is happening. So it's kind of very nice, when you are in the company of so many young founders also. Yeah, so it's been.
Also, I will add that when we work with startups, it's much more challenging than working with GCCs. For a startup, that is the only office they have.
Correct.
Now in that office, they will have customer support guys, they will have technology guys. So the amount of diversity that you see in that office is humongous. And then you have people on top of it who come from the domain. Typically, if you are into transport or EVs or whatsoever, then you have so many domains. So when you have to pack all these people into one office, the crowd is absolutely heterogeneous. Typically, and then they have specific requirements. I remember very vividly when Bluestone came to us, they said that we deal in jewelry and we need vaulting to keep gold in the office.
Okay.
Now
that's a very specific one-off requirement.
Yes. So if you have a food tech startup, they need somewhere a kitchen where they can tinker with the different recipes. So when you have to bring all of that under one umbrella, is much more. GCCs are a lot more homogeneous. To that extent, people are in.
You see like a coffee machine here.
And you have one salary bracket kind of people, all in a comfortable place. So those are the places where I will say that today we have so much of diversity, where people have full-blown labs to food techs to so many things. Yeah.
Right. Your story began in Bangalore, which is why I think even today over 60% of IndiQube is present in Bangalore. Chennai is a promising
Yeah.
market, Pune is a promising market. But which other markets are looking very good for you? Because I think NCR also has a heavy tech absorption, and now you're now seeing some of the smaller towns, Coimbatore, Mysore, Hyderabad, of course, and now Vizag gaining traction
Yes,
because
very
of
true.
all the push.
Yes.
So, what are the promising markets going forward?
So for us, what Coimbatore has really worked very well for us.
And it's a very good mix, right?
Mix,
It
yeah.
has
So
traditional
cost of living is,
yeah.
is low. Your quality of life is very high. The talent availability is very good. So convenience of everything's there, right? So we have large Fortune 500 clients who have taken 1,000 seats with us in Coimbatore. In fact, we are
Because
close
of the
to
engineering talent.
engineering
also,
talent.
that's
Because
a very-
eventually, why do you need an office? You need an office for the talent, right? And I said the city provides everything: good weather, good infrastructure, good food, good infrastructure. So yes, the Coimbatore has come out really well for us. We've grown literally 100% in that city. Then Kochi is also coming out as a big place for us. Then NCR, as you rightly pointed out, Gurgaon and Noida. Noida, if you ask me, is now picking up really well because of the express highway and all the infrastructure that the government has done it. And they're giving a lot of subsidies also. So that is also pushing a lot of GCCs and even the startups to start their offices there. Down south, I would say, has been more growth oriented than up north, and because of the talent, because if you see historically also the number of engineers getting out from the south side is
much
higher than North India, right? So south has been more, I would say, much more higher in growth than the north.
So what Meghna talked about Coimbatore, if you see, I always say that Coimbatore is like Pune 20 years back. Very good connectivity, healthcare infrastructure, good weather, good water, good topography, all that is, and then a lot of industry. So people already are oriented to an industrial culture.
Yeah, because there are a lot of family-owned business groups,
Yes.
a
So,
lot of
so if
wealthy millionaires.
Very true.
sitting
Yeah.
there.
10 families pretty much run Coimbatore.
Correct.
And so I see similar cities. If you look at Indore, in central India is one such city, which is pretty much like it was always called a mini Bombay, is very promising. Then certain cities up east, I will say on the eastern side, like Bhubaneswar, for example, because of the government of the day and the proactiveness that they have and also I will say that India has 50 cities which are a million plus population. China has more than 100. So imagine in next 20 years we will be doubling our cities to where China is today. So I see that jobs are going where people are, and the concept of distributed offices and all that is coming in a very, very big way.
And I think from an organization lens, employee lens, they have kind of mastered the art of remote working because of the...
Yeah. I think all that got steamrolled during COVID, whatever barriers, security and all that were there, I think they all got steamrolled. So today I don't think there are any questions or doubts left that how people can work in different locations.
Right, which actually brings me to the future of work, Meghna and Rishi. At the height of the pandemic, everyone thought, we are going to be permanently remote. TCS, I remember, had some ratio, then they reversed it. And people who initially said all employees will be remote realized that social capital is not getting built because freshers are away from office, they have no idea of the culture, which is why people started bringing back people to offices to foster that sense of social capital. As things stand today, what mix are you seeing? Does it depend on industry? Because a lot of people I speak to say that, startup employees in Bangalore are still reluctant to come to office because of the traffic, because of infra. They prefer working from home. But in Bombay, people have a propensity to come to work. So companies actually say it's easier to get people to offices in Bombay compared to Bangalore.
The thing is, I would not say it's Bangalore or Bombay phenomena or it is an industry phenomena. It is only technology and non-tech phenomena. So when you have a tech team, they have these flexibility. So even it's a manufacturing industry, what we have seen. So we have 3 big clients who've got they are manufacturing there. They have so they have almost about 500-seater office, but only for their 50-seater technology people, they would have a rule, okay, work from home. But the rest of the other division, whether it is marketing, finance, operations, everybody is coming to office. So it's a non-tech versus tech. And Bangalore is is startup
So
heavy, is
tech
tech
people are more
heavy and all.
pampered.
So tech people are more pampered. They have the flexibility to work from home vis-a-vis the other domain or other division companies. So and Bombay is predominantly financial, finance driven, right? So you have those bankers, finance operations. So it's not about choice, but yes, they have to come to office for a lot of other work. They need to talk to their team members. They cannot have be on a Zoom. They cannot work in a silo and write coding, and they can work from a cafe or work. They have to come to office. They have to interact with the other fellow members. So I think I would define with tech and non-tech more than the industry or the city specific.
Is it also a generational thing? Gen Zs don't like to
Yes.
come to office versus millennials and the boomers.
It is that. It is that.
I mean,
agree with
they
you.
don't want to come. It's not just for the Gen Z. I think most of the people, they don't want to be stuck in the traffic or whatever various reasons they don't want to come. But as I said earlier, it is, they know that unless they don't come to office, they don't interact with the team members, the visibility is not there. They do not, the collaboration.
You don't get FaceTime with the bosses.
Yeah. So, and you want, if you want to grow in that corporate ladder, you have to. And it is mandatory to a certain extent that you have to show your face in the office, right? So they've understood that part for sure. So I think even Gen Z eventually would understand that if you are stable in that same level, then yes, then you can actually work from home. But if you want to grow, it's just like in school, you cannot avoid schools. You cannot have online schooling totally, right? I cannot eliminate schools completely. The student have to, there are so many other factors which comes into picture, right? We are a social animal, so one has to understand that. So yes.
Right. But how do you see the future of work evolving? Because India is getting an infra upgrade. You saw what happened with Mumbai recently. They got the Aqua Metro line, Navi Mumbai, and everyone is so excited about it. So as India keeps adding infrastructure in various cities, the smaller cities infra develops, as you get more GCCs, more startups, and more entrepreneurs coming out of the smaller cities in India, how will the future of work shape up? As you said, are we looking at a distributed workforce? How will it shape up?
So multiple trends are cutting this whole thing, and in a good way, I will say. That one, the concept of distributed offices has come in. Now, distributed offices don't mean just intercity; it means intracity.
And it's here to stay.
It is here to stay. What we used to say for Noida and Gurgaon, I think cities like Bangalore will see that kind of a North Bangalore, South Bangalore kind of offices coming in. Then intercity will happen over there. Then if you look at the city centers will come back to life. The example that you gave of Bombay. So we should see a lot of revival of city centers, which typically went out of fashion 10-20 years back, whether it's Connaught Place or Nariman Point or MG Road in Bangalore. That's another trend. The few other trends, what I will say, which are happening in work is the whole workspaces are becoming a lot more on demand and personalized.
Right.
Starting when you are sitting on a workstation, now you can adjust the height of your workstation. Right, you can decide which day of the work you want to go. You can book your parking. You can book your seats. You can have a lot of personalization over there in terms of the benefits that you are availing. Today, I may be bringing dabba from home. Right, somebody wants to eat in the office. Now the subsidies have to be planned differently for that person vis-a-vis me over there. So those are the places where we are seeing huge amount of, and then the dedicated spaces are shrinking. I remember when we came to Bangalore, we used to have the concept of curvilinear workstations. Now you have linear workstations. So you see, but the collab spaces have become much bigger. They resemble like 5-star coffee shops. Data has moved to cloud. The ceilings in offices are gone. You have open ceiling kind of a thing. So you see today, there is so much of fungibility in the office spaces typically, which was not the practice maybe 10 years back.
And is there also a more open space, open door culture when it comes to CEOs and the other employees or the founders and the other employees? That it is not completely siloed. They want to be seen as part of the team and part of the...
This is more with the new age or the startup culture, I would say, more than the Indian companies, old age or traditional Indian companies or GCCs. They still work on...
Where the top management is
the
still
top
on
management,
a separate
yeah, so they have gotten away with those curvilinear workstations even there also. They have got into 4x2, the linear workstations for that matter. But the cabin culture is not gone. But only in the startup, we would see that it's an open, more collapsed spaces and more agile, meaning by, so there are a lot of the way they design their spaces, that if today it's a food court or a cafeteria small, then can be converted to a town hall meeting.
Okay.
It's like a where we can get all the employees. So those office spaces designing also become a lot of agile. So the same space can be used as a workstation, can be used as a collab, and can be used for a presentation purpose. So multiple use of those spaces have started coming into picture. And as I said, the tech, so I'll give you a live example. There's a startup which provides some 2,000 rupees subsidy to their employees for lunch, for food, so that to push them to come to office, and to give them collaboration all. But what used to happen, every end of every month, they used to 25th of the month, they used to buy those fresh fruity crate Coca-Cola and Pepsi, they would take home. And that's how they'll utilize a subsidy,
This is
and
a
that
nice
is
hack.
yeah, right. And then the founder got to know, and I was like, so what they did through a MyCube app, they changed the rule engine. They said that 75% of those 22,000 rupees would be utilized for cook food.
Okay.
So that's how you push
You
people.
can't literally
You
take
can't
the
literally
credit
take the
of
credit.
food.
So those are the few, the advancements which they do. It's so more, I would say, multi-purpose, can we use it, technology. So those are the trends which we're seeing.
Right. Rishi, in terms of technology itself, you can't have a conversation these days without mentioning AI. So in terms of, the impact of AI, IoT, automation in a business like yours, what trends are you seeing?
So I think a huge embracement of technology is happening. If I start with, say, IoTs, for example, you look at the amount of motion sensors that we have installed, whether it is in your basements or less frequented areas, meeting rooms, controlling of air conditioning. I can say that energy consumption has easily gone down by 20 to 30%.
Because of motion
because
sensors.
of just the IoTs. So that is a very powerful case of that. Then if you look at typically, as Meghna said, about your space optimization. Like today, we have so much of data that when a client is coming to us, we are asking them 10, 15 questions. And pretty much we are giving them a quote that per seat price will be this much. Now, because of data, we are able to do that. We can say that, okay, if the salary of people is X and different type of profile, this profile of work they have, what is likely to be their tea coffee consumption? What is going to be their energy consumption over there?
Wow. Okay.
So basically, the amount of data that we have, it allows us to plan extremely well the spaces and optimize all of that. Then you look at a lot of interiors that we do. We earlier were buying products, say, from a very branded company. Then because all our assets are barcoded. Now, when we started buying the same product from an OEM, we found the defect rates to be same. Now, we are not buying and paying the brand premium. We are able to get the same product at 20% cheaper. Because my customer is eventually looking for functionality, not the brand over there. So that is another powerful use case, all of that. And then the whole booking of meeting rooms, and which I talked about, every aspect you look at of work is getting touched to technology, and with data we are becoming richer, and we are able to make things a lot more personalized, a lot more efficient, typically a lot more on demand, on time.
So all our food courts are like, cashless. All our visitor managed system is all paperless. So we gotten away with the paper. There's no paper use. Even with the facility management, we do not have those paper which are kind of tied on, pasted on the back of the door. It's all through the app. It's all through the dashboards. So we've gone paperless. We've gone cashless. Everything is through our platform.
Got it. Are you worried at all that the impact of AI on enterprise hiring? Because there is already fear that people will need lesser number of engineers. They will just need this 10x engineer who's using code to do coding AI to do everything. What impact will that have on your ability to absorb clients if clients themselves start cutting down on the number of people they hire because of AI? Is that a trend that you're worried about?
So we are not too worried, to be very honest with you. Of course, nobody knows the clear answer to this. But if we have to look at some trends, today look at the amount of space global capability centers are absorbing. And I can say in a lot of ways, they are at the cutting edge.
Correct.
In terms of understanding what the AI is going to shape up how. But the way they are expanding into India, I think gives us a lot of confidence that basically AI at one end may take away a lot of repetitive jobs, but I think it is also creating a lot of higher end jobs over there. So as of now, I will say that we continue to see growth in office spaces, and a lot of AI companies, in fact, if you ask me, a good number of them we have now. We will have close to 20-25 companies which are .ai companies, and all of them, if you see
and
the
even
last,
the US AI companies
Yes,
are setting up
I'm
offices
pretty much talking
in
about
India.
the
From
those,
OpenAI to
yes.
Anthropic.
And to add to the point also, the consumption of the real estate in AI, what would happen, like, because in fact, because of uncertainty in AI, because of volatility, people do not know what's going to happen in future. It is coming mainstream. People are not saying that why should I take a conventional office space? I should be only taking space through this model because it gives me the agility and flexibility to expand or grow whenever I want it.
The share of co-working was
co-working.
2% in 2015-16. Today, the share of co-working in the over-absorption is 20-22%.
Okay.
So almost a 10-fold growth in the market share of managed office spaces in the last decade. And as she said, that because of uncertainty, flexibility, everybody wants, they don't want to plan for 10 years.
So there are so many companies which are not even looking at our model initially. They've always had the mind that I'll go to India, or whenever I'll start my own office. But because of all these things, I said, no, let me start with them. Let me, because it gives me much more flexibility, whether if I want to get out, expand, exit, downsize, that is not possible when you have your own office spaces. So in totality, when the annual consumption, it might not change, right, in future. But the penetration of this model would keep increasing. And one more thing is US has about almost like close to 9 to 10 billion square feet commercial real estate market. That is the existing stock. India is only 900 million.
So we have a lot of headroom.
So yeah, when you're talking about a $1 trillion economy, right? So no matter whatever, 900 million, and if US doesn't even grow, nothing doing, we still have about 10 billion square feet, kind of a gap which we have to fulfill.
Right. The other part is a business like yours is also at the mercy of the real estate cycle and how commercial real estate prices and all trend. So to what extent can you really insulate yourself, and is it something that also holds you back from expanding in markets like Bombay where the prices are still quite crazy? So does that also determine where IndiQube will be present, where it will expand going forward?
So I think the first litmus test that we look for expansion is follow the talent. Wherever the talent is going, we have to go there. Now take an example of Koramangala. Now Koramangala will have a startup. Koramangala will also have a GCC.
Yeah.
Now the GCC may be willing to pay 2x or 3x for the same seat or a better infrastructure than with a startup. So India is so deep that you require different types of real estate, especially in the mature markets, typically the micro markets. So we are happy to pick up 30-40,000 square feet buildings. We are also happy to take floors in tech parks over there. So we are quite agnostic to that. And 50% of the time when we grow, our customers take us to locations. They said, I am expanding, I need space in such a city and I need that. And 50% we are proactive, where we know, okay, the city is doing well.
So do you always have to keep a bank of commercial properties ready to deploy, that
kind
of thing?
The other is the real estate is all about planning. Typically, if you go with a bag of money and try getting good quality real estate and good meaning micro markets, you'll never get that. So we take a 3 to 5 year view on a micro market and then start building it out. So we will have visibility into our pipelines for 27, 28, 29 like that. And then we try engaging them. And as you rightly highlighted, that micro market which are very, very expensive, obnoxiously expensive, we are not like looking at scale in those micro markets. We are looking at presence in those micro markets. So our philosophy is presence, scale, and then dominance.
Right. Final segment of this interview. It's been some quarters since you all went public. How has that changed you? Changed, I don't know, your peace of mind? Is it more peaceful now being a public listed company? You just have to handle investors once a quarter and go back to work.
In terms of business, nothing has changed. It's the same. We've been following the same strategies. We're expanding in the similar way. The access to capital is definitely something which is very helpful. And the way the clients are also looking at us has also changed, because the moment we say,
you have
especially the
validation.
GCC, especially they say, okay, we are public listed, the whole, the mindset would change. Okay, we're dealing with the right people and all. So that helps us to serve them better. But in terms of running the business day-to-day operations, I would say, at least for me, nothing has changed.
Yeah, I fully concur that. It's the same. Also, we are a majority shareholder. And
you still have over 60%, which is quite unusual for a new age company.
And because
you haven't diluted much.
Yeah, and I will say that what has helped us is we, from the beginning, believe that best companies are bought, they are never sold. Right? And growth at any cost comes at a huge cost. It comes at the cost of relationships, health, and cap table. So we never got into this mad growth phase. Always
the blitz scaling,
yes,
as
yes.
they call it.
So I believe that I'm too old for that.
No,
So,
it's not. So there I would add it. So both of us have come with a complementary skill. So I look at the top line, he looks at the bottom line, and somewhere we meet in middle. So which is very good for the businesses. So it's like, you have to have a holistic eye. Sometimes some places you have to have the growth in mind, but sometimes you have to have the profitability.
Is this what you'll fight about the most? You want to grow, you're saying conserve and focus on cash
We don't
flow.
fight at all. We don't trespass each other's. That's how it is. Yeah.
we have
More
No
divided-
go zones.
yeah, we don't trespass each other's territory. It was like we are saying he knows this is mine, and
So
we
I-
trust each other. That's it.
I know for sure that she is my boss. I can't say for her the same.
That's it on really.
He's on the record. by
Record,
the way.
right? Yeah.
No, I have no qualms of admitting that. And I think anybody who will meet us will understand that in future. Maybe minutes.
us the
or what-
boss.
Yeah. So, and that's a good check on me, to be very honest. And that helps me go in a good way. So,
No, but I think it's a balance, right? I mean, whatever we bring to the table, the best thing is the complementary skills, and it's very cliche, but that's the truth, which is kind of get us running, where we are today.
Right. We started the show by talking about the Future of Work campaign by Network18. Tell us about your own thoughts about what you're excited about, what you'd like to convey to our millions of viewers and readers on this campaign.
when we look at when COVID happened, the first thought was
just the vision behind the whole
Yeah.
yes, whether people will need
Yeah.
it. So I think the whole question of who will come to office, when they will come to office, how they will work, I think it's still an evolving question. And on top of it, we have added AI, which has added the complexity. So I think keeping all that in mind is where we believe, and we see this as a HR problem, we see this as a leadership problem. We don't see this as a workspace problem only. So I think this is a larger discussion which we wanted to basically open out, understand what people are doing, what are the best practices in this area, and put a lot of collective thought, including the government, if possible, at various stages, and see that how all of us can cope up to this new, I will say,
this new
opportunity.
normal,
Yes, new normal.
Right.
So I think that is the idea behind evangelizing something like this.
Got it. Meghna, he clearly mentioned that you're the boss. So as the boss, big boss of IndiQube, where would you like to see IndiQube, say 3 years down the line or 5 years down the line? What's the larger vision? Is it going to become a pan-India brand? It already is to some extent, but more ambitions there. Do you have overseas ambitions? Because you now have pockets like Southeast Asia, Dubai opening up, the whole GCC area opening up. You have a lot of Indian founders. So take us through your larger vision for IndiQube.
Larger vision again has not changed much, since the time we've started off. And in terms of going to your point overseas, I'll just give you one data. Like the Southeast Asian country put together absorbs about 4 to 5 million square feet office spaces,
Which is actually very less.
Very less. So you rather
If you
be
leave
the king or
Manila
the queen
out,
of
it is
the
5 million.
yes.
But, Bangalore is 22 million.
22 million. So that
Bangalore
is the
absorbs
size
more than the
than the
entire Southeast Asia
And
combined.
India absorbs almost like 60 million square feet commercial real estate. So I would rather be in India, grow their deeper penetration than go, spread yourself thin. So it's a similar strategy, deeper integration in the market, meaning because my client, when they're expanding, when they're scaling, they don't have a problem being in the similar micro market. They would have a problem if I approve them from Andheri and put them to Bandra. But within Andheri, being a plug and play, they don't have a problem. So definitely, as I said, deeper integration within the market. And then the wider, like the presence is very important, because there are a lot of big companies, the larger companies, they come with an RFP. Like I want, for example, 2,000 seats or 2,000 office people pan-India. So if you do not even have a presence on those micro markets, then you're not even on the table. So I would say on the similar lines, expanding our service, expanding our cities, deeper integration in the existing market, and working on the technology.
If I were to converge and put it in maybe say 2-3 lines, I will say for us from the beginning, the employee is the hero of the story, the employee delight. So anything and everything that we do, we always see,
adds to that.
yes, is it
element.
improving the outcome for my customer's employee? The second is the ease of doing business, because and in multiple. So these are the two things: ease of doing business and employee delight is what is, I will say, going to be the single point focus, and keep working in that direction.
Great. On that note, Rishi and Meghna, thank you very much for this very insightful conversation. And that's a wrap on this special presentation of Future of Work, powered by Network18 and IndiQube. A huge thank you to Rishi Das and Meghna Agarwal for sharing their incredible journey and bold vision for the workplaces of tomorrow. From hybrid models to sustainable designs, it's clear that IndiQube is leading the charge in reimagining how we work. Stay tuned to this space for more on Future of Work.